What's up, everybody? So we're doing this a little different. I'm gonna shoot this vlog by myself with the A7. So we're leaving the office, we're just going across the street and we're gonna talk at the Art Spirit Gallery for an event. We're gonna talk about the art of you, about owning yourself, and that you are one of a kind. So we're gonna walk over right now and we're gonna get it done. And so hopefully this works out. Enjoy.
Welcome, Coeur. Thanks,
Blair. Thank you. Hello, everybody. How's it going? This is a creative conversation, so we're gonna have a conversation. So and by no means am I in charge or like have some initiative here. I just really want to have a conversation with you and share things that I believe in regards to the topic that we're talking about, and then being creative, and having a conversation about it. You know what I mean? It's so easy for me to sit up here and talk about the business that I run and the things that I do. If you want to know a little bit about it, I'm going to lead in just to give you a little bit. But mostly what I am here to talk about is I'm going to talk about, obviously we're in an art gallery, and I just want to also say thank you to Blair and the Art Spirit Gallery. This is the most beautiful gallery in Coeur d'Alene, in my opinion. So it's so modern and nice and amazing and minimal, and I'm a minimalist at heart. I love everything about this place. So to be able to speak in here and have your attention, have your time really means a lot to me. So I just want you to know that I'm super grateful for it. I'm grateful that you took your time out to come listen and talk with me, and just we could feed off of each other and kind of hopefully leave here inspired. That's my goal. My goal is that we all leave here better people than the way we came in. That is always my goal. It doesn't matter who I'm talking to, what I'm doing, at any time. It's my goal 100% of the time to be a better person than I was the other day, right? So one thing that I believe, and this is not something I'm just kind of going with what I'm feeling, is always like in competition, right? We're always comparing ourselves to other people. Always. That's how society has built itself. Culture, society is saying, like, look at this is what you should be, or look at that, this is what you should be, this is how you should act, this is how you should react, this is how you should treat this, right? And we all, seems like there's so many human beings that try to fit specific categories. In the end, you have no competition in life, in business, anything that you do. You are not compared to anyone because you are 100% one of a kind. There is nobody like you, period. That's a fact. It's not even my opinion. You are unique. There could be 1,000 realtors in a 1-block radius. There are millions of realtors. There are millions of art galleries. There are millions of people doing the same thing, but all doing it a different way. And so that really helps me get through my life. It helps me be confident in who I am and not really care about what other people think. And I'm not saying I don't care what they think. I do care what they think, but not really caring, not putting a lot of weight into the negative side of what people think. Does that make sense? Really just owning who I am. Looking in the mirror every day and understanding that's the only competition that I have. That's the only person that I have to impress. Because I believe a fulfilled you, a positive you, someone who is okay with themselves, makes the most impact in life, right? It's like that thing, you put the mask over your face in the airplane, you can't really help anybody unless you're alive, right? How do we expect to help and inspire other people and to make the world a better place if we're not better or confident in ourselves? Right? Now I know, and I've never really talked on this subject, it's just coming to me, like I know a lot of times in now, and the trend is self-love, right? That's what everybody's saying. It's like, love yourself. It's kind of trendy now. It's kind of becoming a thing. It's kind of saying, you need to take you time. And I think there is like a small, vague, undefined line of when is it egotistical? When is it all about you? And when is it actually beneficial to you? So I think it's really time for some people to rise up and identify where that line is. To say, like, it's not about you. You're not supposed to, like, do self-care and self-love just because you want to feel good. You want to do it for the reason that it provides, for the result that it provides, which is making the people around you inspired and better and fulfilled and feel loved and feel empowered to be themselves. That's all I really want to do with my life. That's my company right over there at Seejepp, right across the street from Blair. If it closed down tomorrow, I'd be okay with it. because I'm not concerned about that. That is what we do. We're really good at it. We have a great team. But in the end, like, I just want to inspire others to live their best life. I just want to be happy because that's what life is. The goal is not the action. The goal is not the mechanics. The goal of life is to feel fulfilled. The goal of life is to feel peace, to feel energized, to feel loved, to feel empowered to do the things that you want to do, right? So what brings those feelings? What brings fulfillment? What brings joy? What brings happiness? What brings empowerment, confidence? What are the things that bring that? I have news for you. There's not a universal answer. One size doesn't fit all. The same thing that brings me those things is not going to be the same thing that brings you those things. So why do we have a society that says, do this and this will happen? It doesn't make sense. As long as you're not hurting anybody else and you're not hurting yourself, do what makes you happy. Because a happy and fulfilled you makes the world a better place. Period. Okay, we can go. No, but that, like, to me, this talk is called The Art of You. So we're in an art gallery. We're talking about art. We look at the art on the wall. Some of it's, I know, Gil, right? You do one-of-a-kind art, right? You do a piece, you paint it up, or you do your thing. Whatever piece you're working on, I don't care what it is. Whatever it is, there's only one of it. Yep. Period. There's only one. Who determines the value? Anyone. It might be worth $1 million to me and $5 to the next person, but it doesn't matter. It's who's it's valuable to. I used to work at a coin shop, right? I used to be a coin dealer. And I was just a low-end employee, just did what I was told. I didn't have any, I don't like coins. I just got a job somewhere, But I always used to ask, my biggest question to this coin dealer was, okay, so we have this 1913 nickel, right? And it was so rare, apparently it was worth $5 million. And I'm like, okay, this 5-cent coin is worth $5 million. I want you to think about that. Okay, society said that coin's worth 5 cents, but somehow they only struck 5 of them, 1913 nickel, you could look it up, and they were missing one. Okay, back when I was working there, no one had found it. They found it, sold for X amount, millions of dollars. The thing is, I want you to think about that. They sold a nickel for $5 million. Okay, so they hacked culture. They said, culture says that society says that this coin is worth 5 cents. At one time, in 1913, it was a 5-cent piece. But in 2003, when I worked there, it was $5 million. It was the person, the owner of that company told me something very valuable. I never forgot it. I said, how much is it worth? He goes, whatever somebody will pay for it. And that goes for everything. It doesn't matter if it's a 5-cent nickel, if it's an art on the wall. It's just worth whatever value it brings. And you're the same. You're worth whatever value you bring and whatever you determine your worth. And what that is you're one of a kind. You're priceless. Because you offer value that nobody else can, period, fact. You offer value to this world that nobody else can, period. That brings me more fulfillment to say that to you than anything in life. You are unique. There's not one like you, period. There's just not. There is not anybody else like you. And that's true. You bring something that nobody else will ever bring. Why is it in business and society that we come out and say, okay, so I like to use realtors for an example because I work with a lot of realtors. They all do it the same. Everybody does the same things. They all do it the same way. They all do the postcards. And I'm always like, wow, you guys need to understand how unique and wonderful you are. And how, John the realtor, right? He's not a realtor. He's a realtor. I always get that weird. He's not a realtor. He's John, acting as a realtor. If he would sell John and promote who he is and what makes him special, then he'd probably do a lot better in business. That's how I look at Seejepp. Put an agency right across the street from me. Put it next to me. Put 10 of them on Sherman. I don't care, because none of them will do it like me. And that leads me to this next thing. If nobody's going to do it like me, then I'm going to attract the right clients. I'm going to attract the clients that match with me. Okay, so the ones that want to work with me. I show up to work in meetings with t-shirt on, a lot of times in a t-shirt, jeans and shorts, flip-flops, tattoos, a man bun, bracelets, weird sunglasses that I love, and I just don't care. The reason why is because that's who I am. That's not who I am, it's just how I like to dress, right? We all look different. And so, like, here's the thing. If I act like myself and someone says they don't like it, thank God. Thank God, because I don't want to work with someone who doesn't like me. And I don't think they want to work with me either, right? They don't want to work with me. That's great, because not everybody's for everyone. Relationships, like personal relationships, business relationships, whatever it is. We're not trying to fit in. We are. That's what society does. They want everybody to like them, and I'm included. There are times I get in a funk, and I'm like, why doesn't this person like me? In the end, it's a blessing that they don't. Okay, so if I'm myself, let's say, and then what society does, right? They become someone they're not. Okay, they start acting like somebody else. And then what happens is that persona that they put on attracts the wrong person. The wrong person comes into their life because they love that wrong person. So let's say I hate heavy metal music. I don't like it. It just drives me crazy. No offense to anybody that does. I can't listen to it, right? So, but if I met somebody that I really liked, or I thought I was a cool friend, which I have a lot of friends who love it, but let's say I pretended to like it for that person, and then we become best friends, and they're like, come to this concert and this concert, and I'm just like not liking it, I have to retract that and then one day I'm going to become, I'm doing the default to who I am, and it's going to create a rift in that relationship. That's a very light example, but we do it in extreme examples in real life. We become completely different from who we should be and who we really are. And if we're not that person, you actually have to backtrack after you've already connected with that person. And they're like, wow, I didn't know this about you and this about you. It's because you never were really that person in the first place. Does this all make sense? Do you know what I mean? It's like, so I have just come to the realization, I have the realization to just be myself 100% of the time, all the time. And as long as my rule, my foundation, don't hurt anybody, inside, outside, don't hurt anyone, don't hurt myself, don't be maliciously evil, right? Those are all the foundational rules. But I'm going to come out of the gate myself. So then when I attract the right people into my life, and I start doing business with the right companies and clients in my life, they're going to know exactly who they're dealing with, 100% of the time. They're going to know. I never have to change, because I started like that. And so I want my goal in life, I've defined my goal in life, because I know the goal in all of our lives are the things that bring us the most fulfillment, right? So I don't really have plans. I have goals, but I don't, my business coach tells me, don't worry about the how, just have the why. The how is important. You should have goals and how you're going to get there, but goals of direction, like a compass. But a lot of times you don't really know what's going to be along the way. And so why don't you just, number one, anticipate some negative times, because they're coming. Why we know anticipate them is crazy. So that a negative time comes our way on our journey to our goals. And we're like, what is happening? You're like, well, you should have expected it. And if you anticipate it, you're going to be okay. You're going to be like, yeah, I kind of knew this was going to happen. I knew there was going to be a storm in the water. I knew I might break a little bit. We're talking about a boat. I don't know, I have it in my mind. So let's say you're sailing somewhere, right? You're going to have some storms. The waves are going to break your boat. You're going to have to do some stuff. You're going to have to scrape barnacles. You're going to have to do some things you don't want to do. But if you anticipate it, you're ready for it. And if you anticipate something, you have the right tools to do it. Does that make sense? But if you're not anticipating it, and we're just relating this to life. If you're not anticipating it, guess what? You don't have the tools to take care of the storms that come. You weren't expecting something to break. You weren't expecting anything to happen. You thought it was going to be perfect. In life, we form through marketing, too. In business, we form a life that looks perfect. Guess what? That doesn't exist. You know, as a matter of fact, the most attractive thing to me about people is their imperfections. So I run a vlog, right? So every 2 weeks, I release a new vlog on Facebook. And what it is that it's a unedited vlog. And I walk around town, I go to meetings with a camera person that follows me around, and I'm mic'd up, right? And I just completely let go and just be myself. It is kind of like, what do they say? It's kind of douchey. You know what I mean? You're like this guy going around oh, look at that guy with a camera. Especially, and I was born here, by the way. I was born in North Idaho, so I can say this. A lot of people in North Idaho, that demographic, they kind of hate it. I get a lot of hate because they're like, oh, look at that guy with a man bun, and he's like, has a camera, and he's taking selfies. It's all about him. Well, not really. It's not all about me. I just know how to communicate in today's day and age. And unfortunately, I just got to have a camera person. I've got to do selfies. I've got to do videos. It's not about me. It's about just communicating with people. If I have a message inside of me and I want to tell the world about it, I'm going to use every opportunity and every tool that the world gives me to communicate it. And I'm not going to care what people think, because in the end, like when that episode comes out, when that vlog comes out and hits Facebook, I'm going to hopefully inspire and create joy in someone's life. And I won't remember. I'll forget about the guy that drove by and hated that I was taking a selfie. I don't care about that guy or that girl. I mean, no offense to them. They're just in their place in their life and their growth. But it's okay. It's okay. Like you should see my comment section of some of my Facebook stuff, because I do a lot of national stuff. It's horrible. It's hateful. But I welcome it because it makes me stronger. I just don't care. I just don't care because I think the payoff of inspiring someone and making them feel good about themselves is 110 million times better than any negative comment I could ever get. So yeah, it sucks to see. It doesn't hurt me. It doesn't hurt me at all. It doesn't. It just sucks to see. Do you know what I mean? You're like, oh, that's sad that you took the time to be upset about my man bun. You know what I mean? It's like, it sucks that you called me such terrible names because I have this. You know what I mean? That's just terrible for you. But I hope that they grow and are better. But what happens is when you're different and when you own yourself and who you really are, what you do is you inspire somebody else to be confident and own themselves and be who they really are. Do you know what I mean? And then they feel empowered. I think I was just talking to Nikki, my girlfriend, saying to her, I said, now I forgot what I was going to say. No, I said, sometimes people just need permission. They just want permission for something. And sometimes I just want to look at somebody and say, you can do this. I want to say the words, you have permission to post that video. You have permission to ask that person out. Or you have permission to just go eat that pizza. Do you know what I mean? Whatever your problem is. You have permission to do whatever it is that you're weirdly not wanting to do. You have permission to go buy that plane ticket. Just do it. And then for some reason, it just kind of unleashes this, somebody gave me permission, so I'm going to act on this right now. Because someone told them at one point they shouldn't travel. Someone told them at some point they had to eat a certain way. Someone told them at some point, or maybe a lot of points, family does it. My family did it. They tell me the wrong things too many times, and then somehow I believed it. I'm not against family, but it happens, and that's the truth. And sometimes you just got to override that because you are you. And so you get that permission, and you just do it. And you're like, okay, finally, someone told me it's okay. Because in the end, you just got to analyze it, macro it, pull it back, say, buying that ticket, what is it really going to hurt? That talks about money, right? So let's talk about money. If you don't mind, talk about money. Money is just a tool to your fulfillment. It is not the goal. Society says it's a goal. It's not a goal. It's a tool. Oh my goodness. It is not important. It is important only in society. Unfortunately, we have to work within the system. So I'm going to work within the system fairly. But what I'm going to understand is that I'm not going to be afraid to spend it. I'm not going to be afraid to invest it. I'm not going to be afraid to use it. Because I could die in 1 hour, and all of it then doesn't matter. What does matter is the legacy I leave and the memories I leave behind. So the money creates the memories, the money creates the legacy. It doesn't create, it helps facilitate. Right? So think about this. Let's say you have $1,000 in the bank account, and you look up a plane ticket, right? And you're like, oh, it's $300 to go to Venice, California, on the beach to walk the Venice boardwalk for a weekend for 2 days. I know that plane tickets cost about $200 to LA. Would you trade $400 right now for a weekend in Venice, California? Would you? Some of you? I know a lot of you would, because how beautiful would that be? So why do we not do it? I don't know. Yeah, priorities, but if you but you could set those, you could plan it ahead, right? But somehow, I think what I'm saying is fear. Like, we are just afraid of what people would think. I have a friend, I'm not going to name him. I could name him, you wouldn't know who he is. But he wanted to buy tickets to the Super Bowl. His favorite team went to the Super Bowl. Favorite of all time. He had the money to buy the tickets, and it was priority. Everything was good on priorities too. That's a great addition. His priorities were set. It didn't take away from his lifestyle. He had a great job. Everything was good. Income's coming in. He literally makes over $100,000 a year with his wife. Everything's fine. But for some reason, he came, and then he found some friends, and he found some friends on Facebook. They said, there's 2 tickets available for the Super Bowl last year, $7,000, you gotta go, 2 tickets. Okay, I'm gonna just interject this real quick. Some of you might think $7,000 for Super Bowl tickets, that's preposterous. Maybe it's preposterous to you, but to him, it's priceless because of the fulfillment it brings him. Does that make sense? Okay, so he wanted those with all of his heart, all of his passion. He wanted them so bad. His wife was on board. She wanted them. It was exciting. I went with him, got the $7,000 cash, because it had to be cash, it had to be an exchange for the tickets in person. He went, got the cash, and he went to stop by his house, and his family, some of his family, said, this is a stupid decision. And I'm not going to get into that, but he didn't do it because he was so afraid of what they might think. And every day I hear him still. It was a huge regret. Guess what? His Super Bowl, they won. They won. They won. He missed a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for $7,000 and some judgment. Like, I bet you if I could say to my friends, say, okay, ticket prices, I'm going to rewind time, $14,000 for that moment and that experience to fulfill yourself for the rest of time, he would buy them in a second. I'd spend anything. I would spend any amount of money on something that would fulfill me and change my life on the inside. Money is a tool to fulfillment. It's a tool that we can use, and society has set up our business culture to be an exchange for services for monetary gain, right? It's not that. An exchange is a value exchange 100% of the time. That's it. It's just value exchanges. That's it. So if I had Super Bowl tickets if I had 5 beans that you thought were just the world and and you just thought they were valuable and they were worth up to $10,000 and I give you $10,000 worth of services, if it fulfills you and those 5 beans make you feel like $1 million, then that's the point, right? That's the point of exchange. So I just try to look at life like that. And I guess all of this, how does this apply to the art of you? I just want to inspire people to leave places and know that they can do whatever they want as long as they're not hurting others or hurting themselves or being maliciously evil or being bad, just making the world a worse place. Don't do that. But you can be yourself. You can be you. You have permission to do whatever you want. And do. I haven't even looked at my notes. In the end, we talked about the idea of action. The actions are the things that determine our fulfillment and value in life, right? So what I want you to do is, I'm going to give you one tip how to hack culture a little bit. Skip what society says you should do to receive a certain thing. If you see a path to fulfillment, I say go for it. Take it. Take that path to fulfillment. That's an example. I'll give you one more example and then we can just open up and talk some more. Winning and losing. Big one, right? Society has defined winning and losing. That's horrible. Don't you think? I want you to think about it. Okay, so I played Hoop Fest with my friends. We lost all games but one. And the game we won was not really fair because they didn't have a sub. It was not fair. We had a sub, so we were so fresh. We were horrible. We were horrible, and I'm not good at basketball. And we were the nice guys. We never, have you ever watched Hoop Fest before? It's kind of dirty. They're all just so mean to each other. They get all feisty and they fight, and you're like, why are you doing that? It's wasting your time and energy. Who cares? I get it though. I get it. You get fired up sometimes. But we were nice the whole time because we just don't care. We didn't care about that. We just wanted to go out there and have some fun. And society says also that nice guys finish last, right? Last what? I don't know. I don't understand that saying. Last what? Okay, so nice guys finish last. Okay, losers, right? So we're talking about losers. You're a loser if you're nice. We were nice the whole time during our basketball games. And people would say, I got one comment that said, you're a little too nice and not competitive enough, which is why you lost. I go, well, that's cool that your goal was to win the game. My goal was just to have some fun and be fulfilled at the end of it, which actually is what your goal was, but winning this competition actually brings you that feeling. I hacked that. I skipped over that, and I get the same feeling without actually having the same result that you had. So you had to win to feel that. I didn't. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? So it's like, that's how you can hack culture and understand that says winning and losing is not defined by anybody but you. Period. Competition in business, whatever. I point over there because that's my company. So you can call yourself whatever you want. Am I a loser? Absolutely, I'm a loser sometimes. You know what I mean? In my definition. But that just gives me challenges. That doesn't mean I'm bad. I'm like, okay, you lost there because I didn't do what made me me. I'm the one that defines that, right? I said, oh, you lost there. Oh, good. I'm glad I lost. That means I can win the next day. I can get better in that area. But because I'm not the kind of person that says we're all like, oh, we're all winners. You know what I mean? Like if you're not getting better as a person and trying to implement yourself into the world and striving to be better every single day, looking in the mirror, saying, yeah, you lost there because you treated that person like this, or you lost there because you lost your temper with your kids a little bit when you maybe shouldn't have, or you didn't treat this person well, that's when you kind of lose, because that's when you break your own rules. But it's okay to lose. You're going to lose. I'm going to lose. I'm going to lose today sometime. Maybe I already have a few times. But I'm going to reassess. I'm going to look at myself in the mirror, and I'm going to say, I'm just going to be better tomorrow, because you can. And I'm just going to strive to be better. And the last thing, I said the last thing already, but I'm going to say one more last thing. The pursuit of happiness is a saying in America and in our society. It's not the pursuit of happiness, it's the pursuit is happiness. Hopefully you never reach a final destination. Hopefully you're always pursuing something. I want you to accomplish goals. I want to accomplish goals. I have accomplished goals. And the worst feelings I ever had is when I accomplished a goal and had no other goals set up. Actually, that was the darkest times, still is. The darkest times in my life is when I accomplished something and I'm like, what now? Like I wanted a company with 5 or more employees with a full payroll and a good amount of clients and a good income. And I wanted a nice car at some point. I wanted all those things. I got them all. I have 9 employees, a great company full of people I love. I don't care about cars anymore, but that time that